Two-stroke engine, four-stroke engine, diesel, electric, which one is worth buying? Nautical tips, follow us. Let's start by clearing away, by cleaning up the discussion from what is actually feasible. So let's take away alas, or not regardless, I don't want to judge myself well. Or worse or better, I don't know. We exclude diesel engines because when we talk about choosing an engine, the choice of engine is a decision. Normally we are talking about outboard engines because with inboard, outboard engines, it's more or less the shipyard that advises you. If you want this engine rather than that engine, it's not the customer who decides. I would like that type of engine on this boat if the boat was not designed to have that type of engine. So we somewhat exclude diesel engines, which are generally engines provided by the shipyard itself. So we set aside this discussion, we exclude engines that are an integral part of the boat during construction in Papota, and we focus only on outboard engines because the outboard engine is the one that the customer can actually choose. I want this power, I want a bit less, I want to go slower, I want to go faster. It's much more subjective, the choice of the outboard engine compared to all the others. So I focus in this way to give you some guidance on these. Shall I give you some data that since 2007, it is no longer possible to produce two-stroke engines in Europe. So let's say that the choice or the doubt about whether to buy a two-stroke engine is somewhat outdated because either we are talking about a used one from a few years ago or otherwise it makes little sense. The advantages that existed. I speak in the past tense because indeed they are no longer produced regarding engines. For two-stroke engines, it was the ease of construction, easier compared to four-stroke engines. Obviously, not that I am capable or that anyone could do it at home, it was the ease. Because it is a less complex engine, less attentive, however, to emissions. Why? Because, in the fuel, for those who didn't know, you had to mix oil to prevent seizing, so as not to seize the piston in the cylinders. Everything went into the fuel, and let's say this wasn't optimal in terms of emissions. And four-stroke engines in this regard are more attentive. Today, in fact, I find four-stroke engines on the market that are evolving more and more every day. I am starting to see fully electric engines. There are some signs of alternative combinations, such as hybrid engines. But there are zero hybrid outboards. Maybe there will be. But at the moment, there aren't any yet. Otherwise, there are prototypes of hydrogen engines. This will be the future. I don't know, we'll see. What is certain is that today, saying what type of engine I choose among the various solutions. Realistically speaking, in reality, I can only choose between a gasoline engine, which means that it is a four-stroke, or a fully electric engine. In essence, even there's another limitation because electric engines today offer a good compromise between weight, cost, and engine usage for electric engines. We're talking up to 6 to 10 horsepower at most, normally 2 to 3 horsepower, 5 horsepower. Everything that is above that exists, it works. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. The problem or the issue is that the battery pack that needs to be installed on your boat will have a cost and weight. As of now, we're talking about 2025. That is very, very significant. So if I have to choose a 100 horsepower engine, the choice, I'm talking about choices, between an electric motor or a gasoline engine, I can make that choice. Of course, the electric motor requires, I repeat, more weight to carry on board. And many, I say it 3 times, more money for the battery pack. That said, if you want, it's doable, it's up to you. So really, in a nutshell, concluding is, if I have to choose between an electric motor or a gasoline engine, I can do it up to 4 or 5 horsepower without problems there. It will be a matter of budget, wanting to spend a little more to have a less complex engine in terms of management, like an electric motor. Because there is just the battery, there are no maintenance issues with these things. Whereas a gasoline engine, if I want to consider engines from 15 horsepower and up, once these divisions are made, the choice will then be among the various brands and makes available on the market. So the choice is yours. if you don't want to miss any of our nautical content. In short, information or sea trials, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel. All that's left for me is to say goodbye, fair winds, and always keep an eye on the weather.